2004. And if determination and confidence were all you needed to win Olympic gold, she'd be a dead-set certainty. But there's more to Jana Pittman than just running and jumping, though she's pretty darn good. At 20, the youngest 400-metre hurdles world champion ever. As Charles Woolley discovered when he caught up with her in London, Jana is also funny, smart and prepared to do whatever it takes, even lose the love of her life, to stay number one.
When did you first know that you were world champion?
As I crossed, probably about 10 minutes before the finish line, I think I've mouthed something like, oh my God, you know, it's pretty bizarre, isn't it?
It is actually, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you say that, because you sit back and you think, you know, I'm the world champion, I'm trying to be the Olympic champion, and how did I get there? Like, when you're a kid, you look up at all these people, and it was, you know, another funny thing, I walked past a world champion in the village. I just got to tell you, this is the funniest story. I walked past a world champion, Kim Collins, the 100-metre runner. I went, wow, he's a world champion. Then I sat back and went, oh, hang on, so why? Like, whoa. Like, you really got to catch yourself and sort of give a little pinch. It's a bit strange, but...
So how did you ever think you could do this?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how did I get to this stage? How come me?
It's a good question. What makes Jana Pittman a champion? Can I observe that you have larger than average feet for a woman?
Yes, I certainly do. They're tools of the trade.
Big feet and legs. Long legs. It's all a matter of genes, really.
Don't we? Very long legs. Absolutely. No, probably got, I reckon, one of the longest legs around. Even people that are taller than me, most of them have shorter legs, so...
And if we're just being purely clinical, if you turn around, then we have the famous backside, which is...
Our powerhouse.
Yeah, the powerhouse.
Yeah, it's where it all comes from.
Even in celebration, there's no real rest for Jana Pittman, world champion. Staying at the top is no walk in the park. This week, despite her 400-metre hurdle victory, we found her pounding the London pavements.
I'm pretty ruthless with my training and with my attitude towards life. And yeah, I am lucky. I have a very, very unfeminine figure. I don't like to say masculine, because I'd love to have hips and you know, and be able to wear a dress and look feminine, but you know, that will come.
Well, I don't usually talk to young ladies about their bottoms, but this is absolutely functional, isn't it? Your
absolutely.
Bottom. It's part
I've got
of
a very big bottom for a girl, and I have no hips and no chest, which is always a disaster for a woman, but you know, that will come.
Away, fair start by Jana. On the outside, Bashonka got a good start. On further on the inside is Talaya going okay.
It was only a few days ago, but already it's a part of Australian sporting history. Something to be looked back on and analysed.
I'm starting to get reasonably confident now. She's still pulling away from me at this stage.
She's miles ahead.
Yeah, miles and miles ahead. But now at this hurdle, I really turn over off the 8th hurdle and decide that it's mine and I want it. You can see I'm attacking much more. And
you're easy to spot.
Suddenly, the girl in the trademark sunglasses pulls ahead of the favourite, Yulia Pechenkina, the woman they call the Russian.
It seriously feels like everything's like slow motion.
Really?
The last part of the race, you sort of, you know those movies where you see the ice tube, it sort of goes like this?
Yeah.
It feels like that. It feels like everything's going so slow. It's just like those mothers when their babies are stuck under a car and they can lift the car. If you want it enough, you can just push past that barrier if you need to. But it depends on your reasons for running. People run for...
Where does that come from? I mean, where does that power in those last 5 seconds or whatever it was when you just surged through? Did you know you had it there?
I knew I had it. I knew it would come out if I needed it. And when I was sitting at the track before the race, and I was just thinking, what can I do? I want this more than anything, and it gives me shivers now. I want this more than anything in the world.
Here comes Jana Pittman on the inside. Bashonka is stopping. Jana Pittman rushes to her. Jana Pittman's going to win the world championship. What a performance! What a victory! Amazing scenes.
Jana's win was a major sporting upset. The Russian, the world record holder, overthrown by a 20-year-old.
22. Fantastic performance. At 20 years of age, she's a world champion.
Was there anything personal between you and the woman we call the Russian?
I call it, it's easier to keep. It's good to have a little sort of aura around, not aura, what's the word? Like an aggression around the person you race against. So I call everyone else by their first name.
We all might have thought that the race was run and won on the track. In fact, it's a mind game which, more often than not, is decided even before the start. Competitors locked away together like rival gladiators battle for the mental winning edge.
Tell you what, a lot happens in the call room, and races can be won and lost in the call room.
Is it body language?
Very much so.
This is where you intimidate
the others.
the others.
Yes.
And
stamp your authority, basically.
Nice young girl like you, would you do that?
Actually, the way I do it, and I think it works, is that I'm so calm and so just in my own zone that people just look at it and go, she's obviously knows that she's got it right tonight.
Do you have a look that you use in the call room?
Completely glassy and like I don't smile. I have my sunnies on.
You're giving it to me?
Not yet. I find it really hard to do, but it's like just completely like...
Imagine I'm the Russian.
Yeah, it'd be very like...
yeah.
and your whole knees, your whole legs bounce and you twitch a little bit and you just shake a little bit and close your eyes a lot and run your race. So, in your head.
It's an unbelievable sight to see. They're toe-to-toe. The Russian towers above the American. It's a true case of David and Goliath here.
Inspiration can come from some pretty strange places. Before the big race against her Russian adversary, Jana tells us watching Sylvester Stallone's Rocky IV really psyched her up.
It was such a similar circumstance, to be honest, that Rocky Balboa sort of went up against the Russian, and he was never going to beat him. The Russian was a perfectly trained animal. In my race, she was the world record holder. She looks strong, she looks fit, and it just seemed that there was not possible for a 20-year-old, just out of school, been running the event. Phil still says I'm on my P plates. In other words, I can't run the event properly yet to come out and beat this superwoman. That's us, our Aussie battling spirit, I reckon.
What a performance! What a victory!
Oh, boy. Can you accept what's happened to you yet yourself?
These have also been emotionally charged times for her parents, Brian and Jackie, back in Sydney, proudly following the speedy progress of their suddenly famous daughter.
I don't think I can describe the feeling when she went over the line. I was just totally beside myself, I think, standing there screaming, and I couldn't really believe that she'd done it. It was just one of those things.
She's just 20. These are extraordinary times for someone like her, and I guess my feelings were, here you are, kid, in against the adults again. You've given them 4 or 5 years and you've done it.
Sorry,
and
that makes me just cry.
I just was overwhelmed. Yeah, I shed a tear, there's no question, and I'm big enough to admit that.
Jana grew up in middle-class Australia with typical middle-class expectations. Her parents are both professionals, and it was expected that although Jana showed athletic talent, that would take second place to her university studies. In fact, she's put a science degree on hold for her life in the fast lane.
So saying that you are about to become our next sports multi-millionaire. Do you have the sniff of the cash yet? When does it happen?
Well, to be honest, I'm one of the few, I guess, that I don't run for those reasons. Quite a few athletes, especially track and field and the rest of the world, come from countries that they need it. They need the money to get them into a new lifestyle. But my parents have raised me, I think, in a really good manner that I run because I want to be the best in the world.
Are you prepared for the kind of celebrity you're going to get when you get home?
No, not yet, I guess. But I've sort of wanted. I'm the kind of person that does want to do the media and want to be involved and.
Well, you're very good at it, I've got to say.
I hope so. I'm learning.
It can strike fear into the heart of the most hardened old reporter having to do an interview with a runner because there are some shockers, I can tell you.
That's great.
Already, this 20-year-old is learning the price of no longer being that normal person. That there's an obverse side of the coin that comes with the gold medal. As she and her teammates digest her victory over lunch in London, the Australian papers reveal an interest in much more than just Jana's sporting life. In particular, the end of her engagement to fellow athlete Rowan Robinson.
it was a mutual decision. You know, it was very hard for him and I to sit down and to realise that we've come to a stage in our relationship where it wasn't going to continue.
Will you be seen as a hard-hearted woman who put her career before her boyfriend?
No, because I think he did it too. Like he's the best thing about Rowan is that because he was an athlete and he put his athletics long before most of his relationships, he knows that if it's meant to be, it will be.
Well, no one would understand better than him.
Exactly. And if I was a normal person, if I was someone who was sort of going to work and didn't have the sort of physical commitments, as in I've got to be fresh before every session and that sort of thing, we'd work. Because we're so passionate, we're so similar, and we have such a good life, and I have the best memories, and I thank him for showing me what love was, and at my age to have experienced already what love is at 20, I think I'm pretty lucky.
Look, I mean,
And while we're dwelling on matters intensely private, Jana reveals a glimpse of her most inseparable companion, a celebrated bumblebee tattoo. For her, a permanent reminder that nothing is impossible.
For us.
they're a lovely bee, the bumblebee.
Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they?
A big, docile, friendly sort of creature.
But they shouldn't be able to fly. Like, how can they do it? How can they defy science and fly? It doesn't make sense, and it's just a little reminder of God playing his cards, showing you can do this.
Jana Pittman. Well, now reality sets in because she hears the title world champion.
All victories are sweet, but there's no gold quite like the Olympic gold to be seized in Athens a year from now. And if winning really is the mind game Jana believes it to be, then maybe she's already jumped the biggest hurdle.
Well, look at me as if I were in the cool room and tell me how certain you are that you think that you will get gold the next Olympics.
I'm very certain. I mean, I want to win that gold more than anything in the world.
More than anything?
More than anything in the world.
That is a huge thing to say, isn't it?
You only live once. Got to have a shot. But, every girl in that final will be wanting the same thing. Every girl. There's going to be 8 girls in that final, and every one of them's going to be standing on their blocks going, I can win this race. It's just who wants it the most. And hopefully that'll be me. No, I know that will be me.